with a lot of makeup tonight. We just went live on TikTok for 2 hours with a new friend, and this woman and I did makeup. You know, she has a couple of children and was telling me about a journey with different kinds of addiction. But you know, we found sisterhood in makeup, and that is just so enchanting. I got into, among other products, this Neutrogena Healthy Skin Anti-Aging Perfector, this kabuki brush that is so cute and bright pink, leaves little hairs all over my face and mouth, but I'm trying to, as I say, use up my entire stash of makeup and products, and if things are an utter fail, I'll either repurpose them as paint brushes. I do want to do some fine art painting this weekend, and also work on my live capabilities, right? I do like to go live here on the YouTube, but also on TikTok. I've never really gone live on Instagram, so I can't really talk about that. Maybe a little bit, and it was a lot of like people that seemed like they were living that song by Biggie Smalls, The 10 Crack Commandments, who ended up on my live, and it was like, oh my God. But I like going live here. This is my double-ended brush. I don't remember who made this brush. It has no label on it, but I find an angled brush to be quite nice for hugging the contours of the face and getting your blush on in a way that doesn't look like a rectangle. That's important. And I find that from working in television, I need to bring my blush around to the apples of the cheek, because my face shape is one. If it's just on the sides, you won't see it. And I have to wear a lot more blush than I want to in order for it to show up, right? So I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, damn, that's a lot of blush. But then on camera, it doesn't look like that much blush. I did a little inner corner flick. I got into this, and my new friend really dug this Morphe palette that I was working with. I got this 35i Icy Fantasy palette from Morphe because I couldn't justify spending like $35 to get the cool toned Doja Cat BH Cosmetics palette. Yes, I just got lipstick on the palette, but it's okay, we'll wipe that off. But it's a cute palette. I know that Morphe isn't the most high-end brand, but for me, the kind of like newbie to intermediate makeup person, I'm not looking to, buy all the top brands per se, and I feel like I've spent a yeoman's amount of time learning how to kind of plot out my eyeshadow and blend it, and deciding whether I need to go in with a lash and mascara if I'm simply doing my makeup here at home. I have some gas station earrings that our friend Cat Williams suggested. Did you see him lay into that DJ Wanda who was attacking him and calling him basically feminine? And he told her that all of her jewelry was available for $7 at the Citgo if if you fill up your tank, so won't you come on down. He is a very expert comedian, love him, and I think he was justified to defend himself because she was being a little aggressive with him. Not everyone likes Cat Williams, but he was a guest of her show, so I don't think there was an excuse to try to humiliate him on air, and certainly he got the upper hand in that little debate. But yes, this adorable palette from our friends at Wet n Wild, I was very lucky to get my hands on it. Four illuminating shades that can be worn alone or mixed together, instantly provides skin with an iridescent shimmer, right? If you want areas of the face to appear more prominent, cheekbones, chin, cupid's bow, bridge of nose, tip of nose, right above the brow arch, right? Maybe the brow bone, then this palette is it. And I just mixed all of these together. I think you can't really see. It's like a pale gold, a pale pink, a darker pink, and a gold. And I just use this very gentle fan brush of unknown origin. Urban Studio is the brand, but look how cute that is. And together, could there be anything more pink and feminine than this combo? This is an excellent brush, by the way. It's important to keep your brushes clean, but also to have a plan. The woman that I went live with on TikTok was encouraging me to wipe my lipstick off and go in with something darker and more opaque. And I was like, slow your roll. Whose makeup is this, right? I wanted the sort of wash of color here to be matched by a wash of color here so that there wouldn't be more weight here than on my eyes, right? A liner that is a lie. It says that it's brown or almost brown, and it is no such thing. It looks quite, where have I put it? Oh, here it is. A brand called Artistry Lip Pencil, barely brown, and it's not brown at all. It's kind of rust red, right? It does give you emphasis on the edge of the lips, and then I had gone in with this NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Bit of Honey, and I just think that looks marvelous and very kissable. I only used liner on the center part of the upper and lower lips, not on the edges, because that plumping effect, that pouting effect, I made a small line, the center bottom and the center top, just to make it look a little bit more dimensional and vulgar. But how wet that looks, I'm not going to describe how, but it's a little bit suggestive, if you get my meaning. But if I add just a touch of this, I think you can see how kind of orange it is. It's not brown at all. On what skin tone would this look brown? It looks entirely rust. I see people doing this thing where they take a tooth flossing, one of those little flosser sticks, and they make a little black line out of the corner of the mouth. I never know what they're trying to achieve. Are they trying to look like the Joker? Does that do something? Does it do something good? Let me know, because, you know, I want to learn. I want to be up on all the tricks, but this is really a terrible kabuki brush. It's very, it's pretty. Look, it's got this sort of mirror ball on the bottom, and it's very thick and dense. I mean, it does the job. It just feels like sandpaper, and I don't know if that's the best thing. I wouldn't want to travel with it because it takes up so much space, but I did put this inner corner shimmer shadow on, and then I have to admit I amped it up with this Wet n Wild Illuminating highlighter. Illuminating palette, 4 illuminating shades. Doesn't call it highlighter. Iridescent shimmer. It certainly delivers that. And on my skin tone, it doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look blue or whatever, but we definitely got light in the inner part of our eyes. Both of our eyebrow and eyelash brushes, I use the eyelash brush and comb to lift the brows, and I prefer, as you know, to get at it with this Got to Be Glued Styling Spiking Glue. And I did watch a tutorial on TikTok where this woman was applying it quite thickly like I do, and then she went in with her finger to plaster the hairs down, and then before it all dries, she kind of combed over the very top to kind of lift and shape, and then she went in with this, I believe it's a NYX brow pen that makes hair-like strokes just to extend the tail and add a few hairs at the beginning. And it was, I think that's the perfect combination, because I've struggled with powders and pencils and, you know, brow products and pomades that don't do anything, like this BK by Kiss palette. You can do it, but it's not going to be anything special for you, right? If I take this spoolie and I get it into what appears to be, this is the dark brown eyebrow kit. If I get it into this, it wants to be a wax, but it ain't nothing. You can comb it through, right? You can comb it up, But I guarantee you, as soon as you change the subject, these brows are going to look like they looked before. It does come with a little mirror. And even if I use a ton of this product, right, I just don't have any confidence that this lift is going to last. But, you know, for experiment purposes, let's really get in it and brush it into our brows as like a finishing step. But I did want to talk a little bit about Miss is it Shanquilla Robinson, the poor young woman who was unalived down in Mexico. There's been a extradition order for one of her friends, right? And I know people are hoping and praying that there might be other discipline meted out to her other friends, because for everything that it looks like it wasn't a spontaneous event, that there may have been some planning and intention to it that just may have been about, you know, money and access to her money, not only to pay for their accommodations in Mexico, allegedly, but also to, you know, steal from her and maybe bribe people so that they could get out of the country. Some of them are on the run or hiding out in obscure states like Connecticut and maybe some other places. So this is the brows brushed through with this pitiful little pomade. What do you expect? You get this brand at the beauty supply. You know, my makeup journey, and then it comes with 2 different colors of shadow. So if we use this end and just stroke it into this darker shadow, let's see what we can do to fill in any sparse parts of the brow. But, you know, there's a saying that snakes move sideways, right? They're not going to necessarily tell you what is on their mind. You know, you can have so-called friends, whether that's at work or in school or in, you know, what I'll call real life. You can have friends that pretend to like you. Even your own relatives can pretend that they like you and want you around when, you know, at the end of the day, they may actually not only not like you, but be plotting your demise, as with our friend who, you know, got unalived under very suspicious circumstances. There's a ton of videos about it, but I just want to encourage you to listen to your intuition, right? You know when people lie to you over nothing at work, right? When they lie to you and try to gaslight you to try to make you insecure. You know, even some of our friends here on YouTube try to do that kind of stuff, and you kind of have to call it out and back them up off of you, because, you know, there's nothing in the world that can make, you know, these fools actually superior to you. But this brush put all kinds of hair in my mouth. Very unpleasant. But my lip gloss is popping. Now my brows look even more aggressive, right? For that Groucho Marx feel. Oh, like messing up my lipstick to get this hair off my lip. You know, these are the things we have to suffer through in our beauty routine, but it doesn't stop the show, right? The brows look somewhat better, right? It's not like nothing, but you just don't get the kind of lift you get with the Got To Be, you know. But I am interested, I keep saying this, in using up my whole stash and making sure that I am, you know, being dutiful and figuring out, you know, is this brand Ruby, what is it called? RK by Kiss. Ruby Kisses Go Brow Eyebrow Kit in dark brown. You know, this was some of the first makeup I bought when, you know, it became clear that if you want makeup that looks better and not random or terrible, it might pay to go to set with your makeup done by you, right? Think of Naomi Campbell in the 90s. Sometimes the highlighter was practically white. And sometimes, you know, they just seem to put a big old field of just pale gray on her lids. And she's a beautiful woman. But if she had had access to the shade ranges and cosmetics that we have now, she would have looked even better. Even though it was 90s makeup, other people were not looking as, on occasion, crazy, because I'm sure she got to set and there were limited things that could even work on her skin. And I think Yasmin Gowri, you know, preferred to do her own makeup as well, because if you're Pakistani German, people don't necessarily have shade ranges for you, you know? Any of us who are not just one, you know, sort of very typical ethnicity, we got to experiment. We got to shop around. Are the Latina oriented makeups better for us? South Asian oriented, Malaysia, you know, you look at TikTok and Instagram and you see all the different cosmetic companies from around the world represented, and you're like, it's exciting because you're like, well, what's the makeup like there? I remember in quarantine watching United Arab Emirates stewardesses do their makeup, and I was like, girl, what is that? Where can I get it? Because just skin tone wise and emphasis, right? People with thicker brows and brown eyes and, you know, this kind of skin tone. I'm not saying you can't learn from Nikki Tutorials or Jackie Aina, but, you know, I appreciate having all the different skin tones and looks that I have access to on all the different beauty platforms, because it's helped me get better. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I used to be like going in with these super dark contours and these super, you know, just slapping this stuff on my face because I'd be watching tutorials and not being kind of cognizant of the fact that people were slapping this stuff on and it looked dramatic. I feel like they were taking a lot of it off and then presenting a blend that is best achieved by applying small amounts on a brush or on, you know, taken from the back of your hand. So all these subtleties to say, the more you watch, the more you can absorb technique that's gonna work for you so that you can be on camera looking right. Now, our friend Shanquella did what a lot of us do, which is assume that coworkers or so-called friends are really on your side. And sometimes it can be small things, microaggressions, micro exclusions. Right? They're getting together and leaving you out. They're eating together, walking together, gossiping together, and not sharing information with you. Everybody celebrates their birthday, and I've dealt with this at work. It's like, so much birthday, 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 but they will not celebrate the birthday of other people. This sort of, you know, wannabe in crowd clique of people, women who don't work there anymore. You know, but you have to kind of tolerate it and give the corporate smile and, you know, keep it moving because it is insincere and dangerous. You know, all the attempts to get you away from the crowd and get you off campus, you know, away from the authority of the employer so that they can do things to you, you know, like I hate to think, but, you know, Shanquella's friends, it seems to have been about jealousy, in my opinion, allegedly, and theft. And it's petty, but those are common inspirations for people to do crimes, unfortunately. And it would never occur to you, you would never think that someone who was in your face on a daily basis, in the face of your family. But, you know, some people have no morals, no limits. They have chapters of their life that they will never speak about. And they are adamant that they're going to take everything wrong that has happened to them or that they have done and had to pay for. They're going to take that out on you, right? Even if it's just their own failure. Sometimes it's their opinion that it's your fault. And, you know, you got to keep your antennas up. You got to keep your intuition in a place where you respect it, right? We all are living with, you know, trauma and questions, global panini, etc. But that doesn't make it ever time to put your skepticism away, right? Whether it's someone who wants to insult you in front of other people, make jokes at your expense, question just how good you are at your job, that's not their place. And sometimes you just have to put and keep people in their place, and that place is very often far away from you. You know, this tragedy continues to unfold with extradition orders and perhaps indictments soon, right? It's something that never should have happened. You're just innocently trying to go, you know, have a weekend or a trip away with your friends, but, you know, not everyone who acts like a friend is truly a friend. And, you know, I definitely am interested in hearing if you've ever had any experiences with people who've turned on you, right? From a significant other, oops, to a relative, to a girlfriend, right? Not a romantic girlfriend, but a girlfriend who's supposed to be like a sister to you, right? Or even a sister. Has anyone ever turned on you crazy over money, over, like, you know, I think the amounts of money they're talking about with Shanquella and her friends were like $10,000, $17,000. Allegedly, they used her credit cards to fly back to the US. You know, taking the credit card of a dead person, allegedly, beyond raggedy, beyond ratchet, actually criminal. And, you know, I think this whole situation is evolving into consequences, but, you know, getting to the bottom of the truth is challenging for Mexican authorities, American authorities, and poor woman's parents. You know, 25 years old, right? Whole life ahead of her, successful. Her so-called friends didn't care, right? You think that people love you the way that you love them, care about you the way that you care about them, and they gonna show you how little they care and how much they're plotting your downfall and demise, unfortunately. But in any case, I just wanted to get on here and give my perspective and show, you know, my evolving makeup skill, right? Just trying to do a little something, a little look, something kissable. You know, what I haven't been doing is working out, and I'm too tired to do it now, but maybe we'll get into that tomorrow. But thanks for joining me here on House of Tanya. We are here in California, right? The Golden State. The I guess the brown bear maybe is the state animal. But are you traveling this holiday? I'd love to hear your travel tales, you know, and if everyone's behaving out there in these streets. Anyway, Jaclyn Hill, Wet and Wild, our friends at Morphe, Artistry, Suspiciously Colored, quote, Barely Brown pencil, and this delicious NYX Butter Gloss, which this always hits and never misses, whatever shade you got. And I will check you out next time here on House of Tanya. Yeah! Bye!